Hello, friends. Delphine here with this week's Note from Soul that I channeled for you. And afterwards, I just want to say a few words in more practical terms about how we can actually implement this type of guidance and really kind of implement our own intuitive guidance, really. Because I know that certainly I feel sometimes frustrated at a human level when I can't really bridge that gap between what I know I want to, who I know I want to be and what I know I want to do in my life, and that kind of well of wisdom within, and how to actually experience that, informing my life in more practical terms, more tangible terms. So, with that in mind, I invite you to listen from all parts of you. So, the mind will be taking in the words, but also if you just take a few breaths into your heart space, your womb, your pelvis, drop in a little bit, and ground yourself in the space that you're in if you wish to receive this. So, here's this week's words from my soul to yours. The answer, you know it. The source is inside you. Go inside and abide there for a time to retrieve it. Let it feel good to you to know it is there. Let yourself delight in this inner well of goodness and knowing. You have ignored it for too long, but now the pull is getting stronger. To cease the seeking outside, far and wide, spreading thin. Go within, drop in, come home. There is nothing to fear in what you will hear, as it is only the truth. The mind may fear our truth, as it has protected us for so long. But your heart and soul keep longing, searching, seeking, calling you home. Home to the wellspring of gold that is always, always there inside you when you finally cease and release the search outside and recognize it was there all along inside. Come home, drop in, and find your answers within. So, depending on what form you're in, maybe when you hear this, part of you may feel like myself often with this kind of weekly guidance that anything that I channel or tune into from the deeper aspects of me may feel a combination of kind of knowing that it's true at one level and feeling like the deep kind of resonance of truth and reassurance of it, and also a certain level of human frustration at like that old chestnut still, kind of being constantly reminded of these truths that feel really resonant at one level, but also can seem so tricky to actually live by and implement and really, really, I want to say like capitalize on, but really kind of derive the goodness from, like really, make the most of and really kind of enhance our lives with. So a lot of my work has always been about looking at the impediments to all of this, like what gets in the way of this, and that's why shadow work is a big part of my work. But I think that for many of us who've done a lot of healing work and done a lot of things, like all the things, who follow all the guidance and try to do all the right things by ourselves and, try out lots of different ways, and I've been on a long journey with this, I've sort of boiled it down to core foundational pillar elements. They're the kinds of things I was talking about in terms of the Venus Embrace group program that I was talking about recently. And one of them is holding space. And it's kind of what people talk about as containers, but not exclusively. It goes deeper than that. So I want to pull that out, this whole topic of holding space, like secure holding space and feeling the support that we need, because that for me is one of the key things that we need to have in place in order to be able to go within and to feel safe enough to drop in and receive that knowing. Because I don't know about you, but when I go within, there's a lot of mental activity, and that is normal, and that's a part of it that we work with that. And there's a lot of strong emotions, there's a lot going on in the body when we drop in, so there's these layers that we sort of need to work with and incorporate when we're trying to drop into that deeper knowing, like that the answers within that come not from the repetitive loops of the mind, not from the emotional injunctions or kind of more urgent impetus, the more animalistic or even just emotional, which is not necessarily animalistic, but just, that's not the full picture. I mean the kind of deeper guidance that we can receive from our truer self, our soul self, our higher self, the multidimensional self who has a wisdom that is dying to get through and inform our lives, but is kind of hidden behind those layers. So there's certain things that I have noticed over the years and years that I have been engaged in this work and this journey and this mystery myself, that facilitate that kind of go across the board. And one way that one thing that I've seen is this idea of container, and a lot of people are talking about containers at the moment, coaching containers, group courses, in that kind of context. But I see containers as going much deeper than that. That's one manifestation of containers, but there's also, as is therapy, a very obvious kind of container that is very, hopefully secure over time and gets richer and richer, and the more it becomes trustworthy. But there are other kinds of containers, so I want to look at that. I'm going to pull out that aspect of the Venus Embrace, kind of course, the group program that I had put together, because it's all very intertwined, but I want to just pull out this one aspect to give you an opportunity to explore that and to share with you some of the different ways that containers can show up in our lives that we don't even realize. So some of it is becoming conscious of the containers that are available to us that we already have, and then there's the whole area of choosing containers that are actually aligned to our needs and that are going to give us what we need. Choosing the right kinds of containers for the stage that we're at in our lives now, the seasons, the age, the stage we are in our personal development, and different needs at different levels of us. So it can be body level containers, like it can be physical practices, movement practices, whatever it is. So it's not about the specific thing. What I want to look at here is, doing a review, sharing with you some of the things I've identified in terms of why containers are important and how they operate for us, and giving you an opportunity to look into your current containers in your life, the holding spaces that you have in your life that you maybe don't even realize are there, and having a chance to become really conscious of what you need at this point in your life. I had a thought there, I can't remember, let me see. Yes, my thought there was that I come at this always from kind of multiple perspectives, and I blend in and integrate the perspective of my background in psychotherapy. So containers in terms of what we need in our human personal development, what we needed as children, what we didn't receive, what we're still trying to receive now as adults and give ourselves. So there's a kind of, holding space that we need as humans, and then the holding space that we need as souls. And in one way, like, our bodies are, the ultimate container, the vessel for our souls, the temple, my body is my temple. All that stuff is true. Like, it is the habitat, the vehicle for our lives here in this planet, and there are many others. So yeah, that's what I want to pull out and kind of really look into in depth in a workshop in June. So I will post more details about that tomorrow. And I invite you to join me if that's something that you're interested in. And in the meantime, have a think about it. If you feel drawn to this and there's something in it that, that you feel curious about, to look at what offers you secure holding space in your life at the moment. Is there even if it's kind of people and teams and family and groups that you're in, habits that you have, kind of regular routines and rhythms and rituals, all of that is a way of giving ourselves holding space. I'll stop there for now, and I wish you a good week ahead, knowing that what I'm sharing here, hopefully for you to know that what I'm sharing here is this really beautiful kind of soul level guidance that is intended to inform our lives and not just be aspirational and like, oh, beautiful words, but then, switch off the phone, come out of Instagram, which is maybe a kind of misattuned container for a lot of us. It's kind of replicating a sense of being a bit dysregulated a lot of the time. We're sort of seeking something from outside ourselves. But knowing that it goes beyond, that this is not just supposed to be something that's like, oh, nice pretty words to hear, but that it, my intention is for it to really actually inform our lives and make a real difference and bring through more of our true selves, like our multidimensional magical selves, in a real practical way, for that to inform our lives. The light is getting very kind of, I don't know if it's UFO or angelic, but okay. Wishing you a beautiful week, and finding any supports or any ways that you can to look within for those answers, because they are there waiting for you to connect with them, receive them, and let them guide your life.